guys. What's up, pilots and ladies? There's lady pilots out there too, I think. We're going to have a crack at putting that FPV Raptor that I've got, the Volantex 757 V2 FVP Raptor. It's a 6.5 foot wingspan. My other video out there has the maiden and crash, unfortunately. The follow-up, I had to go hoof for that thing. I mean, my gosh, the thing was like, it was out there. I think I walked almost a mile altogether there and back. But I got the thing back in all the pieces. It wasn't that bad. The wings had separated. You see it in the video. While I've got it, while I'm working on the Raptor here, I'm going to heat up the steam gun here. Okay, and I use this for foam repair. So when I get the Raptor finished, I'm going to do a couple of final touches here. And this thing's really great for getting out dents and foam and not having to hit a large area. You can just kind of concentrate on the dings that you want to. You know, unlike boiling water and things. So there are some other methods out there too. You know, some people stick holes and try it up. I mean, you can only do so much with foam, and it'll only tolerate so much. But I got the idea of the hot water, and I tried it, you know, and it has to be boiling water, really, really hot. But it had a tendency, yes, it worked, and it worked in the area for the repair, but what it also did was it raised the surrounding area and made it bubble, like it gave it kind of a scaly fish-eye effect. A very orange peel, kind of like one of those real bumpy fruits. Anyway, you have to end up sanding that down and stuff, and you're kind of taking away a little bit of the strength there of that compressed foam because you're expanding it. So I got the idea of something a little bit more directional, and just being able to apply it. Say, you know, you get a ding in the side, and you know, you shouldn't have to do anything with it, but it's there, you know, and it's going to bug you, right? So it does me. Until I've flown them and crashed them enough times, then they're just a used, broken toy that I keep putting back together and getting experience with. But in the meantime, you say you get something nice, like back here, I've got this little spot back here, okay? And I'll show you guys after I get the Raptor back together. I work pretty quickly, so be patient, and I'll get things rolling here for you. But you'll see, this works real well. You can get in there and tight little spots, and it just lifts the foam in that dented area, almost undetectable sometimes. I've been really lucky with it. All right, stay tuned, and I'm going to start throwing the pieces of that Raptor up on the table here. We'll get that thing together for you, okay? Hold tight. I work pretty quick. Hi guys, well, I got it done. I'll let you take a look at it here real quick and see what you think. It's the FPV Raptor by Volantex. It's got a 6.5 foot wingspan. It goes a lot faster than I thought it would. And I think I may have the adjustments all set up this time. It went together pretty quick, pretty easy. I did manage to crack the carbon fiber spar that goes through the rod that goes through the two wings to hold them stable. That was split in half, as well as the laminated wood in there was just split in half. But pretty much that was about it. I didn't really have any other glue work to do. I didn't have any serious foam work to do. I had just a little corner of the piece of let's see which side is it. You almost can't even tell. There's just a little tiny corner of a piece of a wing here in here that was broken off, and I used a little bit of the foam tack for that, and it worked really well. Now I've got the clear. Excuse me. I use the clear Gorilla Tape. It's got a really good feel to it. For one thing, waterproof, and it's really tough. So I mean, stuff will take a beating. I've got some on the leading edge of this wing, and actually I've got it underneath here. And in fact, I'll show you, because we're going to fire this thing up just to make sure all the controls and everything work. And then I've got a treat in store for you. I mentioned earlier that I had some foam repair to do, and I do. This one didn't get too beat up. As you can see, probably right here, I got a little bit here, that needs to be kind of fixed up a little bit. It's not bad. I got a little ding here. You can hardly probably even see it with the way it is, but then I got a nasty one over here, right on the wingtip, and a little steam gun I think is going to do just a great job of that. And this is the one I've got here. Hold on a second. Let me get this thing going for you. This one I picked up at a garage sale. I think I paid $5 for it. Came with a big kit and a hose and attachments for all kinds of stuff. My ex tried to get her hands on one of these, and I didn't tell her I got this one. She might want it. Anyway, this thing works pretty good. Shoots steam out. But I'll give you an example of what I do and how I use it. So let me set the camera up here and see if we can get a little bit better shot for you. How am I going to do this here? You know what? I'll just hold the camera. I'll try to be about as steady as I can. I'm only drinking coffee. It does make me a little jittery, but good coffee though. Anyway, yeah, the FPV Raptor. This is the one that I almost lost, and yeah, it was a kind of a hard crash or soft crash. I don't know what you call it. Miraculous save. Either way, got the plane back. It went back together pretty quick, pretty square. Nothing seriously damaged, and I didn't even have to really readjust any of the control surfaces. They were still fine when I put the plane back together and put the receiver in there, and I used the same receiver that was in it. I seem to find that sometimes that's important. At least for sure stick with the same brand. You want to stick with at least the same brand that you had in there. If you used a Walkera like I did, stick a Walkera in there. If I put a Spectrum in this thing, chances are when the servo center, my plane's going to be out of adjustment. So as you see here, nothing was really damaged. Nothing broke. You can see in here, all the wood was still intact. I mean, even the wood in there. And this is a tough body on this thing. I'll tell you what, it took its blunt right there. I think that's the only blemish it got, was a little stress whitening there. I can hit that. Watch this with the steam gun. I'll bet it just disappears. Maybe not. That used to work in the body shop sometimes. We would hit a plastic, we could hit it with heat. Actually, a heat gun would do it. Steam's probably just not quite enough. This thing is still going. Hold on a second here. Okay. I had it unplugged. It was coming out a little bit wet, so I'm going to get rid of the wet stuff and let it warm up for just one more second here. Anyway, I've just got a couple little dings and stuff here, and then it's going to be ready for our maiden flight. What started off as should have been a one one video clip of the maiden. Ended up being a maiden and a crash. And then, of course, the next clip was having to go get the thing and show you the damage. And then this clip, of course, the repair. And then next one is the remaiden. And if I've got it set up correctly this time, and I think I do, all should go really well. This thing should be, honestly, a gem to fly. Just a gem. So let me set this thing up here real quick and power up the controls. Let's make sure everything works. There the servo's going. Okay, go ahead and hit the radio here. Yeah, looks like we're rudder, got ailerons, flaps. I hooked the gear up differently. Let's see if I hooked it to the mix switch like I thought I was, or like I was thinking of doing. Yep. All right, it's going all the way down, but I've got it on a 3-position switch, so I'm going to be able to get a couple of level adjustments on that, and then I'll get two. I'll just get two levels of flap. Standard, heavy flap, and then a light flap maybe possibly for just a little slower, and possibly maybe taking off. Depending on the situation. I haven't really used them yet, so I don't know. This is all kind of a new thing for me. But first, let's work on keeping it in the air, right? All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found this enjoyable. This stuff is great, the foam tack. I put my F-16 fighter jet back together. There were over 100 pieces of foam. I should have done a video on that one. But I got the whole damn thing back together. Unfortunately, it's in shambles again right now because I remade that one, but I did fly it longer than 12 seconds. I actually got to fly that one for about 4 minutes. But it was so nose heavy, it just kept wanting to dive. Like this. Only this one, I don't know, this one was like a brick. That one was just fast. And all I had to do is, and I could have controlled it, it was just real nose heavy. But I took my eyes off it for a split second. And you don't do that with jets. Gliders, sometimes you can get away with it for a brief second, but it's just not a good idea. Bad things happen. As Josh Bixler would say on Flight Test, yeah, bad things happen. And they will, I knew all this was coming, so I take it in. I don't know how I'm still holding this thing. I take it in stride. Honestly, it's a sport. It's a hobby, and part of what learning process is making mistakes. So anyway, let's see how this thing works. I was going to let you go there for a second. I must have dinner or something on my mind. Let's try not to spill my coffee. I'll turn this plane around. Maneuvering this one in the house is a little bit of a chore, but I'm going to try and get this thing over to the bad wing here, and I'll give you guys an example of how this steam gun works. Okay, you should be able to see that there's a pretty good dent there. I'll try and get it in the light there for you. You can see from a couple different angles here that that's really kind of messed up, and it's obvious. So let's give it a shot here and see if this works. It doesn't always work as well when there's a painted surface on there. But let's try it. It may remove a little bit of I'm not getting the lens here, okay? It may remove a little bit of the paint, but that's okay. You can always touch that up. The big part is trying to get the dent to come back up and out. Now on untreated foam, that comes right up and out real quick. Let's see if I find this one over here too. And we can hit that. Again, we gotta be careful. I'm really smart here. I set my full coffee, hot coffee, right in a very vulnerable spot. Dumb. I love grinding my own coffee. It's like the best in the world. Okay, let's see if I can get this a shot here. All right, see, we've got a dent again here, but I've got untreated foam. So, I mean, if you've got an area that's painted, like this is pretty heavily painted, you know, the moisture can't get through it. But so take a little piece of tape or something like that and remove the area of paint there by the damaged area and observe. And voila! That is as smooth and concentrate. It's you can go right across it, and you could hit a little bit more down here if you want to, and you almost can't overdo it. But keep an eye on it anyway, because you never know. And you see, if you still got a little bit of a low area there, you can just concentrate right there. And don't be afraid to get close, because we're overexpanding that, but just a little tack of glue and it'll pop right back in. And then you'll notice here, see, we've got a brand new, excuse me. You'll notice here now, we've got a brand new edge on this wing. And I mean, it looks just as good as the rest. And it's not overdone on the outside areas. And it really does work most of the time. Now this dent over here, like I said, it's got a little bit of paint on there. You know, suppose I take the paint off of there, okay, a little bit, and then let's try that again, okay? Let's swing the plane around. Look at that thing. What a wingspan. Fly this thing outside for sure, huh? And you could clean your plane, you know, at the same time while you're doing this. Again, remember how bad. Now watch. I mean, you can see the angle. You can see how bad it is. Okay? And before your eyes, it will come right up and out. You know, within reason. I mean, if you've got a severe dent in that, it's not going to be perfect. But you can get it to come darn close. Now, I'm going to get it from a little bit from here too, because it's got a little damaged area there as well. Although I didn't remove the paint from that, the moisture and the heat should get it. See, what you're doing is you're actually expanding the foam, and then it gets up to a state, and then the moisture disappears, but the foam still remains inflated. Okay. And you can see that if you just throw a little paint on that thing, I mean, that thing was dented in there pretty bad. Okay, now it just looks like a spot here, but I throw a little gray magic marker, or just if I had the paint color, you know, you almost wouldn't even be able to tell that. A little slight sand, you know, and just hone the edge even, and dent's gone. Well, I hope you liked it. It's quick tip trick, and I like the idea you can just get little tiny. You can get the little things and not have to swell the surrounding area, because that can actually warp a wing and stuff too, if you think about it, right? If you had to do a big enough area, say it's got a nasty dent in it, you know, and that foam expands, well, something's gonna move a little bit. Just thinking. I don't know that for sure, but it's just a thought. Anyway, I'm gonna put this thing back together. We know it works, and next time you see it in the air. Thanks for joining.